Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the invisible wars being fought for your data, the absolutely skyrocketing price of the tech in your hands, and the huge corporate battles that are going to define our digital future. All right, so we've broken this down into three key areas to make sense of it all. First up, the digital battles that, believe me, affect every single one of us. So let's start right on that digital battlefield. Law enforcement around the world just scored a major victory. But, as always, a brand new challenge is already emerging on one of the biggest gaming platforms on the planet. It's a question a lot of us have, right? And the recent takedown of a massive phishing-as-a-service network gives us a really clear and kind of chilling answer. The real genius here wasn't just in the code, it was in their whole business model. Get this, for just $500, criminals could buy something called the W3LL kit, and it basically created a full-service scam factory. This wasn't just a tool, it was like buying a franchise for fraud. It made it possible for even low-skilled criminals to get around complex security, like two-factor authentication, and sell thousands of stolen accounts on an industrial scale. And the scale of this thing was just staggering. We're talking over 17,000 victims worldwide. It was linked to more than $20 million in attempted fraud. It actually took a huge coordinated effort between the FBI and the Indonesian National Police to finally bring it all down. So, while law enforcement is busy tackling these criminal networks, some of the biggest consumer platforms are facing their own security headaches. Let's switch gears and turn to a platform with 380 million users that's trying to roll out some pretty drastic new safety rules. We're talking about Roblox. They're rolling out mandatory age verification using face scans or government IDs to try and create safer spaces. The whole goal is to separate younger users from adults by limiting who can chat with who based on their verified age. Honestly, it's one of the boldest moves we've seen from a major gaming platform. But here's the wild part. The biggest weakness in this whole system isn't the technology. Nope. Even with all this advanced verification, reports are already popping up that show parents are actively helping their kids lie about their age to get around the system, just registering them as adults. This creates some massive hurdles. I mean, putting aside the big privacy concerns about storing biometric data or questions about the AI's accuracy, you have the fundamental problem of human behavior. It's just a stark reminder that a security system is only as strong as the willingness of people to actually follow the rules. Okay, so while that battle is raging in the world of cybersecurity, another one is brewing over the hardware we actually hold in our hands. And this one's all about scarcity, incredible power, and just massive, massive demand. I mean, seriously, a graphics card that launched at $2,000 is now on track to cost as much as a used car. It sold out globally in 5 minutes flat, and prices are already hitting astronomical levels. And analysts? They think this is just the beginning. And as you can see from the specs, it's an absolute monster of a card. But the key issue, the real problem, is a severe global shortage of its critical GDDR7 memory. That's the ultra-fast RAM these cards need to run. So you combine that scarcity with huge demand from gamers, creators, and AI developers, and you've got a perfect storm where prices are already hitting $3,500. And speaking of hardware that everyone's been waiting for, after years of rumors and speculation and prototypes, it looks like Apple's entry into the foldable market is finally on a clear, concrete timeline. Mass production of the all-important display panels, which, funny enough, are being supplied by their rival Samsung, is set to begin in just a few months. And this is a much bigger deal than just a new iPhone model. Analysts are predicting that Apple's entry is going to completely reshape the entire foldable landscape. They're expected to pretty much take over the North American market, a category that Samsung spent the last 7 years building all by itself. So all these hardware shifts are directly impacting the power dynamics between tech's biggest players, and it's leading to some major shakeups in who's on top. And talk about a comeback story. Samsung has officially reclaimed the #1 spot from Apple in global smartphone shipments. In just the first quarter of this year, Samsung captured 22% of the market, putting them just ahead of Apple's 20%. This victory was no accident. It was driven by the really strong Galaxy S26 series. It had competitive pricing, big improvements to the camera and battery life, and a really powerful marketing push in some key emerging markets. Now, while some of these giants are battling it out for today's market share, another one is celebrating its legacy by reviving one of the greatest, most beloved games ever made. And the timing is perfect. For the 40th anniversary of the franchise, a full remake of Ocarina of Time is heading to the next generation Nintendo Switch. And let's be clear, this is not just a simple port. We are talking a ground-up remake. It's going to have a complete graphical overhaul, modernized controls, maybe even some new content. And they're targeting 60 frames per second at 4K. This whole thing is being designed to honor the original while taking full advantage of some seriously powerful new hardware. So when we look back at everything we've covered, a few big trends really stand out. Security is just a constant arms race. High-end hardware is pretty much becoming a luxury good. The smartphone market is a relentless, brutal battle for that #1 spot. And wow, nostalgia is a powerful force in gaming. Oh, and maybe the biggest one. Human behavior can undermine even the very best tech. And that's really the thought I want to leave you with. As all this tech gets more powerful, and also way more expensive, who really wins in the end? Are these advancements creating a more accessible and exciting future for everyone, or are we just heading toward a more expensive, more divided one? Something to think about. Thanks for joining this explainer.